Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara, CPA, coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York, for another amazing episode of How to Win at Business. And if you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And today, folks, we are going to talk about a topic that we'll always be talking about because it's important. Which business structure is right for you? Now, that's for me, that's a pretty simple question. There's a pretty simple answer. As soon as I see somebody's tax return and their financial situation and what they're trying to accomplish, you can easily put the facts into certain buckets. So now let's talk about what the options are. Okay, the first option, which isn't an option, it's automatic, is that you are a sole proprietor. As soon as you start a business, okay, as soon as you start a business, you are a sole proprietor. By law, you have to keep books and records. So if you're doing something for profit, your legal structure is the simplest form of doing business, sole proprietor. Now, the problem with that is there's millions of people that don't know that they're a business. People that like drive Uber cars or Amazon affiliates. If you're making money outside of your W-2, you're a business technically, and you have to file your tax return on a Schedule C, which is combined with your personal return. Now, being a sole proprietor has a lot of drawbacks. Number one is you get no legal protection. Number two is you get no tax benefits, none at all. In fact, you're overtaxed because whatever your net profit is on the business, you're going to pay about 15% in Social Security taxes. Sole proprietors get audited a lot more in proportion to corporations. Okay, so those are that's the downside to being a sole proprietor. The only upside is that it's simple. You don't have to pay any fees. You don't have to register anything, unless, according to state and local law, if you have a business. And, there's counties like in California, I know, I think Huntington Beach, where if you have any kind of business, even if it's an internet business, you're supposed to be registered. So, that's the first choice. The second choice is to be a corporation. Okay, now corporations have been around for a long time. Corporations has all the wealth. All the wealth in this country is basically held in corporations. Huge corporations. Now, we're not talking about huge corporations. We're talking about little tiny businesses. Well, little tiny businesses can be corporations too. But now to be a corporation, now you're talking about, some complexities, a lot of complexities. You gotta incorporate, number one. You got to follow the state and local laws. You got to get a tax ID number. You got to get a separate bank account. You're going to have to get an accountant. Some people might try to do it themselves. That's highly not recommended. So there is some complications. Now, if you have other shareholders and you have to have board of directors meetings and you got to document everything, that's how a corporation is run. But when there's a single member corp, there's only one shareholder and it's you, and you are the board of directors. Okay, it's not really that complicated. It's not that complicated. It's not as complicated as they would like you to believe. Okay. Yeah, if you're making money, you're going to have a payroll. and that costs some money. So it's not free. It's not free. So the question you have to ask yourself is, are you serious about the business? If you're serious about the business, then you have to expect to pay some money for professional fees and to do this right. So, in Bedrock Business Builders, we have a $47 a month CFO package. And the total annual cost to do business with us, to do your bookkeeping and your corporate taxes, is about $1,600 a year. That's, I think, about $125 a month. Okay. And that's what you get with the corporation, though, is you get legal protection. Okay. And what I do is I make people S Corps because there's no double taxation then. So with an S Corp, you get legal protection and you get amazing tax benefits. Okay. There's a lot of different ways that, you can do things. You have options. Corporations get more respect in the business community. When you go into a bank for a loan as a sole proprietor, you're getting a personal loan. You're probably not getting a business loan. When you have a separate corporation, you can establish business credit. Okay, so you can establish business credit outside of your personal credit. So that's an amazing benefit. And S corporations do not get audited. Very, very rarely do they get audited. And there's a reason for that. The IRS targets sole proprietors because they're usually not up on record keeping. They're not sophisticated. They don't reconcile their books. And basically the IRS looks at them as being sloppy. And they usually get money. They usually get money when they audit Schedule Cs. When they audit S Corps, especially small business S Corps, I'm talking, people grossing under 100,000. They very rarely get any money, because chances are that return has been done by an accountant. They've probably have, books and records. They probably have financial statements. So that's the pros and cons of being a corp. Now, what about an LLC? That's not an option. It's not an option for a small business, and I'll tell you why. The IRS does not recognize an LLC. There is no form for an LLC. So what the IRS says, if you don't tell us what you want to be, how you want to be taxed, if you're a single member LLC, you're taxed as a sole proprietor. Now you get the legal protection. You get the same legal protection you get with a corp. Okay, but with an LLC, you get absolutely no tax benefits, not for a small operating company. So why do they have LLCs? What are LLCs for? Well, LLCs were created for wealthy investors that wanted the flow through tax benefits that come from things like real estate, oil drilling, all kinds of, coal mines, investor type of businesses. Okay, before they couldn't get all the tax benefits. And when I talk about tax benefits, I'm talking about things like depreciation and amortization, and that's so they get the investment and they're getting the tax benefits. Okay. Before they were limited, they would have to have limited partnerships, which meant they were limited to how much they can deduct based on how much they invested. So all they could do with a limited partnership was break even for tax purposes. So they came up with the LLC. Now the LLCs have other uses because of its flexibility. So you don't have corporate shareholders, you have members, and you have a managing member. And you could distribute profits and losses in any percentage you want. An LLC can hold assets. It doesn't even have to be a business. You can just set up an LLC to put assets in and protect it from creditors. So that's what an LLC is. So you could see that it is pretty simple. It only comes down to two choices, really. You can be an LLC, but you want to tell them to be taxed as a corporation. And usually you want to be an S Corp. So the question between being an S Corp or a Corp has to do with your current financial situation. So why do so many people choose an LLC? Well, because that's what's being advertised. That's what's being advertised all over the internet. For some reason, the whole LLC thing got mishmashed. And a lot of people, millions of people set up LLCs thinking that is the entity of choice, but it's really not. It's not, because you get no tax benefits. Okay, not for a small operating entity. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I'll be back again tonight at about 6:30 for another episode of How to Win at Business. If anything that I talk about resonates with you, please feel free to book a free chat with me. I love talking to people about their business. Just don't, make an appointment with me to pitch me. Okay, it's not a networking appointment. It's a business appointment. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking to close you on your business. If there's something I can help you with, that's what the purpose of the call is. So, and hello, Ada. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I got to get off. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless. Thank you, and I will see you later.